A warm welcome to the show. Spring is just around the corner, so it's the perfect time to plan your travels. And in this episode of Pulse of Culture, we're inviting you to Poland's former capital, Krakow. And we begin in Kazimierz, Krakow's historic Jewish quarter. Here, old tenement buildings are turning into boutique hotels, and coffee shops that once served the local community are now filled with tourists. Still, despite all these changes, there are people determined to protect what makes Kazimierz so special, its distinctive artistic soul. Natalia Komarow takes us on a walk through the neighborhood.
Krakow's Kazimierz district, once Europe's most significant Jewish urban center. Today, a symbolically layered urban space, inhabited by memory, nostalgia, and new ambition. Before World War II, it was home to about 60,000 Jews. After the Holocaust, the district was almost left empty. The communist authorities even made plans to get rid of it completely. Fortunately, they never got around to it, and Kazimierz remained just the way it was, a remnant of Poland's pre-war, multicultural past. And so now, it faces the same conundrum many beautiful, historical places do. It needs the revenue from tourism, but it also needs to maintain its one-of-a-kind character.
We were the first in Kazimierz, and sadly I have to say we're the last.
Karol Kuberski opened the Shalom Gallery in the early 90s.
Dlaczego Shalom?
It's called Shalom because this is a Jewish town, and Shalom means peace. It's a universal greeting, like a Jewish hello, and we also want to show people we are still here and we live in symbiosis, as we always have.
Karol misses the atmosphere of the old Kazimierz, but he understands that after decades of neglect, many of the buildings here are in dire need of renovation, and commercial projects are what makes it possible. This was the case with the old plating factory at the edge of Kazimierz, which gained a new life after the Banksy Museum moved in 2023.
When we found out this building, we decided that it would match the best with artworks of Banksy, because this building also have a soul, have a history.
Its 1,000 square meters of industrial space provide the perfect backdrop for Banksy's murals. And the building, which no longer served its original purpose, has gained a new one. Soon after the Banksy Museum moved into the neighborhood, local graffiti artists were provided a space to paint their own memorable murals. On the edges of Kazimierz, we find a middle ground between the artsy past and the commercial future. The Comic Book Museum, founded by a group of passionate people like Artur Wabik.
This place was invented by me and my friends because we are all collectors, and at some point we didn't really were able to keep our stuff anymore at our houses. And we thought, like, maybe we could combine them into one big collection and additionally make it available to other people, to the public.
Currently on display at the museum is an exhibition of drawings by one of Poland's most celebrated cartoonists, Bohdan Butenko. Starting in the 60s, he created characters and images that have been absolutely iconic to several generations of Poles. So, what is the true Kazimierz? An all-Jewish town? A real estate opportunity? An artsy corner of historical Krakow? Perhaps the true beauty of Kazimierz is that all these different personas can live in symbiosis.
There's only one Van Gogh painting in all of Poland. And believe it or not, it's right here in Krakow. The works come from his early series of landscapes painted in the 1880s, and you can now see it on display at the National Museum. Natalia Komarow had the chance to speak with the conservator who cares for this remarkable piece.
This painting is by Vincent van Gogh. There is no signature, but the conservation team at the National Museum in Krakow did the research and confirmed its provenance.
The entirety of chemistry and physics were involved. We did non-destructive testing using X-ray and pigmentation analysis, as well as archive research. All of this combined confirmed the authenticity of Van Gogh's painting.
It's the only original Van Gogh in Poland. It was bought by a Polish collector in the 1980s, and for many years, nobody was sure if it was authentic.
Początkowo obraz znajdował się w zbiorach.
The painting was initially in the collection of Van Gogh's mother. She probably didn't think it was valuable. She stored it in a chest with her son's other early works. The painting's later history is quite tangled.
With the help of Dutch experts, the conservation team in Krakow figured out when Van Gogh painted farmhouses among trees to the month. It was September of 1883. At the time, the future great painter was still just a beginner in the Netherlands.
The Dutch value Van Gogh's early paintings because they demonstrate his artistic development. We can clearly see the difference between the Dutch period and then the lights of France, Paris, the contacts with Impressionists. It's touching because after painting the farmhouses, Van Gogh only lived for 7 more years. And yet he created this distinct artistic world.
The painting is on display at the new European Art Gallery, which opened in December 2025.
W kontekście całej naszej galerii, gdzie
In our gallery we show somewhat unconventional pieces of art, sometimes even funny, and we put emphasis on how artists used to work to show that the beginnings are sometimes difficult. An early painting can shed a new light on how we view any given painter.
You can visit the current exhibition at the European Art Gallery in Krakow's National Museum until the end of 2026. Come and discover what Van Gogh was like before he became Van Gogh.
So as you probably know by now, Krakow really does have it all. History, a royal castle, amazing food, plus festivals and buzzing nightlife. But how do you fit it all in? Alex Sumlinsky has put together the perfect itinerary, a magical day in the city, all mapped out for you.
As the sun rises over Krakow, regardless of the time of year, the city slowly comes to life in the heart of Europe. Our journey begins in the main market square, one of the largest medieval squares on the continent. The market was laid out in the 13th century and has kept its original medieval layout for more than 750 years. Just a short walk away, Wawel Castle towers above the Vistula River, a symbol of centuries of royal history, offering breathtaking views across the city. A regal fact about Wawel Cathedral right next to Wawel Castle: for over 500 years, this was the coronation site of Polish kings. Tourists are already taking note of all the city has to offer.
We'll definitely come back again. It's friendly. Everybody seems really happy.
From the Wawel Castle, head into the Jewish quarter of Kazimierz. Before World War II, Kazimierz was one of the most vibrant Jewish communities in Europe. During World War II, Jewish life in Krakow was systematically destroyed by the Nazis, as the community was forced into the ghetto and ultimately annihilated through deportations and the Holocaust. The revival of Jewish life in Kazimierz began gradually in the late 1980s, and especially after 1989, when communism ended in Poland. The Jewish Culture Festival in Krakow, which has been taking place for 37 years, was one of the first small steps in that revival. No visit would be complete without tasting the local flavors. And yes, even the beloved bagel traces its roots back to Poland, alongside comforting classics like bowls of żurek and pierogi, which you'll find in abundance in Krakow.
Really good. Very, very good. Being from the States, you eat pierogies, but this is the real deal.
When night arrives, the city reveals its playful side. Krakow's nightlife is legendary, especially among visiting British tourists, sometimes a little too enthusiastic, but always adding to the city's lively, unforgettable energy. From history to food, tradition to nightlife, Krakow truly offers one of the most magical days in Poland.
And it's time for Culture Beats. At Warsaw's National Philharmonic, classical music is getting a fresh twist. A new monthly series is opening the doors to new audiences and rewriting a few rules along the way. Karolina Shapland reports.
National Philharmonic, the name itself evokes a sense of grandeur that many would-be music lovers may find intimidating, and yet this institution is anything but out of reach. With concerts that regularly sell out, it's now going a step further, launching a new initiative designed to welcome fresh audiences into the world of classical music. And it's called the Thursday Concerts. These concerts are designed to turn classical tradition on its head. Instead of the usual two-part program and strict rules, no clapping between the movements, Thursday concerts invite whimsy into the National Philharmonic.
Dobry wieczór.
So, what are audiences expecting from tonight's edition?
I've never visited Warsaw Philharmonic. I've been to many West End shows in London, but I thought now would be the time to check out a more classical style event.
This is my first time at the National Philharmonic. I was drawn in by Thursday's concerts after I saw a reel on Instagram mentioning that you can ask the artists questions about the performance.
From the lyrical comedy of Richard Strauss' Arabella to that one classical melody almost anyone can hum, Johann Strauss Jr. Blue Danube. And after the final applause, another unexpected treat. A kind of musical speed dating, giving audiences the chance to meet tonight's stars. But how does this novel format feel from the conductor's perspective?
I have the feeling that people have been less reserved and less, how can I say, people came with open hearts. And of course it was much shorter, so people knew they are released after now, so that they wouldn't have to stay forever. But I had the feeling that it was a very relaxed atmosphere somehow.
And now the most important question. Did this Thursday concert live up to expectations?
100% yes, it really took me away. It was calming, it was very professionally done and extremely powerful as well.
I really enjoyed it, especially because each part was prefaced with commentary. I think it was a great introduction to the Philharmonic.
This concert offered a captivating journey through the 19th century Vienna, and the final piece of the program, the Blue Danube Waltz, was just a way to entice, hopefully, the new set of Philharmonic regulars. For TVP World, I'm Karolina Shapland.
Footage of Punch, a 7-month-old Japanese macaque rejected by his mother, went viral around the world after he formed a touching bond with a soft toy. Now that same image has made headlines in Poland. A well-known Poznań street artist, Kawu, was detained after painting a mural of Punch on the wall of the city's old zoo. But there may still be a happy ending. Zoo officials have invited the artist to create a similar mural, this time legally, at the new zoo. And as for Punch, he's since been accepted by a new monkey family of his own, and that's what matters most. And before we go, one more announcement. On March 3rd, the highly anticipated new film by Jan Komasa premieres in Poland. And of course, we'll be there to keep you in the loop. Good Boy is a dark, twisted thriller about a 19-year-old hooligan, Tommy, who is kidnapped and locked in a basement by a deeply dysfunctional family. Their goal? To force him into rehabilitation at all costs.
Believe me, we won't be keeping him there for long. Tommy's going through a rebellious phase.
I'm gonna obliterate you the second I get out of here!
And with this, we conclude Pulse of Culture. Thank you for watching, and please stay tuned for more.